Alright, so with this Quirk evolution video, we're giving you what you asked for, and we're talking about one of the most infamous characters in the entire series. And he's not even a villain. We're talking about pervy Grape boy, Mineta. So obviously, the reason people want a video on this guy in the first place is because of just how underestimated he really is. Which is kind of the whole point of this series, so yeah, I'm down. But to this day, there are still people who question how the kid got into UA at all, and if he really belongs in the hero course, let alone class 1A. To which I say, don't hate the player, hate the game. Not everyone needs to be an offensive powerhouse, which unfortunately the final round of the sports festival very much contradicted. But yeah, when it came to the entrance exams, simply immobilizing the robots was enough to score points, and in that sense, Mineta's quirk is actually really strong. I mean, his quirk is literally called Pop-Off, and when it comes down to it, he really does the damn thing. Like when that boy Sero, the focus of our previous QE video that you should totally check out, got knocked out by Midnight and her sleepy time pheromones, Mineta had to pick up the slack and got the job done in a solo situation against a pro. Not to mention that academically, he scored within the top 10 of his class on the midterms, so don't sleep on this guy. Because I know I can't since my boy Kirishima landed the 15th spot. But yeah, Mineta has one of those more interesting yet straightforward quirks. The hair on the top of his head form into removable spheres that are incredibly adhesive to all things besides himself, and when one is removed, another forms to take its place almost immediately. Although it's not like he can keep this up forever because he'll eventually start bleeding out from his scalp if he removes too many too quickly. But his threshold for doing so has certainly improved since the beginning. And now that we're all on the same page with all of this, we can move to the actual meat of the video and improve upon his quirk. And more so than just making a character's abilities ridiculously broken or savage, I like them to be fitting and believable. So when it comes to Mineta, I feel like when making any improvements or new techniques, we should at least try to have them be a little bit dirty. And with that, first up, we have ball-to-ball collision. Now, we've already established that Mineta's quirk doesn't exactly make him a frontline combatant. It's one that he just has to be tactical with. And so I feel like the ability to have his balls retain their bouncy nature when colliding with each other would just open him up to so many more tactical opportunities. And I mean, his quirk is pretty dependent on its ability to connect to others, and this guy isn't exactly a star pitcher. So being able to do this would really extend his range, and would serve to be another thing an enemy combatant would have to account for, which would only become increasingly difficult as he increased the number of balls present on the field. After that, we have one that may be a bit of a stretch depending on how you look at it, and that's the ability to have his balls come back to him. That way, if they were to latch onto an object or weapon, he could quickly disarm people or move things as he pleases. However, for the sake of believability, maybe we could fall back onto the bouncy property, treating it like throwing balls to the wall, but more than just bouncing back to him, it would return with whatever it affixed itself to. Then there's simply treating his balls as a launch pad. Honestly, at this point, everything sounds perverted when I talk about this guy's quirk. But yeah, with his small size, it wouldn't be too hard to pull off. Maybe he could stick one underneath each foot and use them to hop around, who knows. But last up, we have makeshift weapons, which he's already dabbled in before. Like with that whip of his that looks like a giant booty bead, and spoiler warning, that one he did in the manga during the joint training battle against Class 1B, where he stuck his balls onto a shield, which sort of acted like a catcher's mitt. As for what I'm specifically expecting him to come up with at this point, really I'm just waiting on a sort of like breastplate, I guess, or some kind of body armor. I mean, forget the stickiness aspect, I can't even remember ever seeing these things be broken or destroyed, so low-key, they might just be really durable, so I'd love to see a test of that. And with that, I feel like Mineta could really become a valuable asset on the battlefield. And I know he makes a ton of people uncomfortable, but I really don't see him slowing down anytime soon. Horikoshi is a proud perv, so him giving Mineta a power-up at some point isn't too unlikely. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this ball pit of an episode because there is plenty more to come. Let us know who you want to see powered up next in the comments, and share the video with your friends to really help us out. Thank you all so much for watching, and have an awesome day. I love you.